Yeah, we are live, and I'll just wait for one or two people to join. Honestly, it doesn't even really matter how many people come aboard, as long as it will be there for people who want to see it to come back
Yeah,
to at any time.
exactly.
If anybody is saying this, can you just let me know so that I know that we are not just talking to each other and we have one or two people trying to learn a thing or two from here today? Okay. I'm just going to give a little bit of time, say 1 minute, and see if any one or two people will join. And if you have joined, in case I do not know how this works, because anyway, this is my first time of using this. In case you have joined, can you just drop a message and let me know if you can hear us, both myself and my guests? Okay, I think I can see that someone is viewing this. Um, yeah, yeah, I'll just wait till 7:08 and we can just get started because anyway, I don't want us to take more than um
Yeah.
6 p.m. until we're out of here. Yeah. So if you can hear us, just let me know. Maybe drop a comment or something so that we know that there are people that can hear us from this conversation. I can definitely see one person. I think I can see someone. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we just go ahead. It doesn't really matter. Yes,
Okay.
so thank you very much. And today my guest is a social worker in the United Kingdom, and she's intentional favor. If you don't know her and you are on YouTube, I don't know what you are. I don't know what you're going to see there. There are a few people that I actually go on YouTube to watch. CCME is top on my list, and then there are several other people. But when it comes to living in the UK and just getting tips that makes settling in the UK easy for you, intentional favor is definitely one of my top. And I've been following her for, I believe, about even before I came into the UK. Actually, before I came to start my PhD program at all, I just stumbled on her page, and I literally binged on her videos. Like saw how she came into the country, when she started her channel, all of the things that she has, been able to achieve for herself. And one of the few things that caught my attention about her is the fact that she kind of says it as it is. When you're struggling and you're able to share your struggles, when it's not every time that everything is going smooth. I know all the hustle and hassle it took her to even get to this point of being on tier two. All of those, she got married and her husband has now been able to join her. At the time, she was having so much issue. She wasn't even sure she was going to get at tier two approved. Like so many dramas that happened with her.
Yeah.
And just knowing that some of us are able to follow through with all of those struggles, to me, that's just a plus. It's not just about creating content, it's about making sure that what you're creating is actually relatable. People that are going, I know that one of the things I'm so interested in about, this old tier two situation is knowing that as a person on tier four, you're almost just here studying. If you want to be able to stay back, which is usually everyone's dream, you have to figure out a pathway for yourself.
Yeah.
A channel is a pathway. You just need to sit down there, learn from all the things she has done that brought her here. And that's why I think she's a good person to talk on this topic. I know I've brought somebody before who spoke on crossing from tier 4 to tier 2 also, but Victoria, that Niger girl, some of you who are like OGs will understand what I'm saying. She came into the country as a on tier two visa. She is a nurse and she came as a nurse into the country. That's a totally different ball game. Intentional Favor came into the country as a student and now she's on tier two. So that just kind of explains, if you're a student, this is almost like a template for us to work with if you want to cross it. And I know some people say, "Oh, but she studied social work and all of it." The the procedure is the same. It is just about being able to find your path
That
into
information. Yeah.
sponsored job, and that's what this evening is all about. So that I just stop rambling, I just wanted to quickly introduce yourself. Just say a little bit about yourself, when you came into the UK, what you studied, and yeah, what has how where you are now. So I know you're working, just how you got.
Um, Yeah, first of all, I really want to thank you, Dara. Thank you for this privilege. Like, I really count it a privilege to be on this channel. I know you popularly with your I've heard, I've seen your Instagram handle, Japati UK. I think that's actually big. I must commend you. You are doing a great job. Sometimes Instagram is not my thing. All those long posts, creating all those stuff. It's not just my thing. I rather sit at the camera, talk and just edit and go my way. But I usually respect people that take time to do all those videos that are straightforward, and things that guide people through. Yeah, so it's a privilege to be here, really. Thank you for having me around. Um, I don't know what else you want me to say, really, because I think you really said much about me. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, Intentional Favor, where I've been sharing my journey, here in the United Kingdom. I came into the United Kingdom December 29, if I'm to be specific,
Mm,
2019, okay,
mhm.
with Tier 4 visa, here to commence my program, January 2020. So I did a 2-year master's program in social work at the University of Chester here in England. And of course, I graduated this year. I did my graduation in March. And after completing that, of course, I was privileged because once you finish your social work training here in the UK, you are eligible to apply to register with Social Work England, which is the professional body of social workers, without which you won't be able to work as a social worker here in the UK. So I managed to do that, and of course, I began job search, which I believe like some of the tips or things I learned in the process of doing that, I'll be sharing subsequently in this video. So currently, I'm proud and not proud like that proud. I'm humble though, but of course, you know what I mean by being proud. But I'm really proud to say that yes, I'm a licensed and registered social worker here in the United Kingdom, currently working and under the Tier 2 skilled worker visa here in the United Kingdom. Of course, I'm married, and yeah, a lot of other things. That's just a little bit about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that introduction. And honestly, that's like the recap of who she is, what she's been able to achieve. And honestly, shout out to you on your graduation, shout out to you on your marriage, shout out
Yeah.
to you on all the things you've been able to accomplish between 2019 and now. And honestly, being a student myself, I know the struggle of just being in this country studying. It's a lot of situation. You're studying, you're juggling work, you're trying to raise money for fees, raise money for rent, raise money,
Yeah.
so many things, and then being able to finish with a distinction, and then finish all of that, and now you are a licensed. See, guys, I wish there was a way to just clap and just say, you know what, she's achieved it all. Now, so I just have a couple of questions I've prepared, and it's just going to guide the conversation. And one of it is, so when you finish, I know that by the time you were finishing, the whole postgraduate thingy had come on board, postgraduate visa, that is. Did you even think about applying to that? Did you ever cross your mind that, you know what, if T2 just doesn't show, I'm just going to apply for my postgraduate visa, and if it comes true, I'll just know that that's what it is. Did you ever consider that, or did you even try to apply for postgraduate visa?
To be honest, no. That's the answer. That post-study visa, when the UK government introduced it, everyone jumped at it. As a matter of fact, when it came out, one of my uncles said to me, "This is the best time for you to come to the UK. Before now, after studying, people go back to their country, but now this is an opportunity you have. 2 years, you can look for job." Saying all those good stuffs about it. That was the first impression I had about that. But of course, digging further, I saw that there are some sides to it that are not so favorable. Sometimes we tend to see the good side of things, okay, and they are so flashy, but there are some underlying things. And depending on your condition, for me, because of the condition I just found myself that this visa is not for me. I hated it with passion, if I'm to be honest. I hated that post-study visa. And because of that hatred not because of the good sides, but some of I was angry. Why would you put those limitations? Why would you? So because of that, there was this holy anger, if I'm to call it that. There was this holy anger in me that was, no, this is not for me. And that was the point I made up my mind. You know what? I'm not going to go for this visa. Whatever it takes, I'm not going to go on that visa. Even if everybody was jumping at it, really. People were, of course, I'm still grateful. I know I talked about it on my channel. I told people I'm not downplaying it. It's very good, but it depends on how you see life. So I think that part of me was what made me to say, you know what, I'm not going for this. And I worked hard. It wasn't easy at some point. At some point, with everything going on in my life, it was more like, "Are you sure you won't go for this visa?" But to be honest with you, it was far from Plan B. You know, you have Plan A, you have Plan B. I could say it's my Plan B, but if there's anything before Plan B, that's it. That's how far I was from it. I really determined that I'm not going to go for that because I didn't like it. The conditions, for instance, the ones. So some people, like, of course, one of the things they said, which for me, because of my condition, is that you won't be able to bring over a dependent. And I know that I'll be getting married after my program. And by the time I'll be getting married, I won't be able to invite anyone on my tier 4 visa anymore because
Yeah.
it will be expiring in less than 6 months. So because of that, why would I go for something? So if I get married, I'm complaining that for the past 6 months before now, I'm not with my husband, long distance relationship, ended in long distance marriage. For how long? It's frustrating, and that's not the kind of life I want. That's not the kind of marriage I wanted. So that's the major reason why I wasn't happy with the post-study visa. That was the major reason. Other ones about after 2 years, if those ones are still minor. And then the cost of it too was another angle. Like, it's so expensive. I didn't spend up to that amount to get my tier 2 visa, and here am I. So why would I spend such amount for 2 years visa? That's what built that built the anger in me. Yeah. So
Honestly, I'm so great. I'm so glad for your responses on this question. And there was a reason I asked, and the reason is this: a lot of people just see that as, you know what, whatever happens, even if I don't get it, so I'll go for my postgraduate school, and that's why I asked you. And I like all the points you've raised. Number one, there are limitations on that visa. Don't just say like, oh, but there should be there's 2 years, there's 2 years.
yeah,
You that you couldn't determine to get a job in your 1 year plus 4 months
exactly.
that was given to you. What's the probability that you won't be just just be lazy about it, and then the
Yeah,
2 years will just while away like that? That's one. Two, you are paying a lot to even. How can I pay all this money to the UK government to study, and then I pay again to stay back? Why? What? To me, it's just counterproductive. Number
yeah,
three, as I said, as long as your dependent is not able to come in during your studies, I mean, just don't bother, because
mm,
they are not eligible. And then there are even some people who are probably not passed their courses well, because again, failure in any course, module, whatever, all of those are it determines whether you get the graduate visa or not. So
yeah,
I feel like the good is there, that it can be a backup, like she said, but
yeah,
please don't make it a plan B backup, so that you don't become so relaxed and like, oh, okay, that's it, that's it.
exactly.
So yeah, I
Yeah,
like the fact that she said she didn't. It was there for her as an option, but it was not up for consideration for her. She knew what she wanted and she went for it. And honestly, that's one thing I say every time I talk to people about this post study, visa. Don't see it as an option. Just see it as don't see it as a plan B. See it as an option. See it as an
yeah,
option, because if anything else fails, then you can come back to that.
yeah,
Because I
exactly.
don't see any reason why you will pay money again to stay back in the country. Why, when you can just, hustle
Such huge
yourself around
amount of
and
money.
figure out how to get. And again, it's even expensive. I mean, for you, you'll be spending almost 2,000 if it's 2 year course you're
Yeah,
trying to. You'll be 2 years. It's just a lot ridiculous. So yeah, that's that on the question of post study. Guys, just see it as an option, like a last option even. Don't
yeah,
see it as a backup or plan B. Then, so what are the general details about it? So when your course ended and when you got a job that is sponsoring you, what was it like for you? What did you have to do? I'm just going to make this like a big bracket question so that I can explain your process. When your course ended up until the time you got your job, what were the things you did? What were the things? I know that you are a social worker, and that's honestly a very big plus for you, especially as with getting a sponsored job in this UK,
yeah,
considering how the health and care sector is like a hot cake now. But then
yeah,
the procedure to getting a sponsored job is the same across all
yeah,
professions. So what were the things you did? What were the things you didn't do? We know we need to establish, and I know that I expect that anybody who is listening to this probably already understands that it is important that your job has to be sponsored by a company that has license to sponsor
yeah.
you. But like, what were the things you did? What didn't you do? What are the things you look back now? You're like, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. That got you up until this point of getting your job that is now, sponsoring your visa. It's just a
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, bro, thank you for that question. Okay, first of all, like maybe I'll say the first thing I did was to decide that I'm not going for post-study visa.
mm,
Believe me, that's the most important
mm,
because, like you said, if I didn't make that decision, I would have been complacent. I would have just been lazy. And after all, I have an option. I won't go back to my country, you know. So that's the major one for me. You just have to have that determination in you that you know what, I'm not going for this, I'm going for this other one. So the moment I made that decision, I knew that I had a lot to do because I know I cannot just fold my arms and watch out as things, unveil. It will not happen. So after I made that decision, of course, I made research. I usually encourage people, try as much as possible, make your research. Sometimes there's some information we find here on YouTube. That's why for me, for instance, I on my channel, I focus more on lived experience so that you can see, you can relate with it. Rather than that, if you just give information, all this information, though people like to listen and than reading anyway. So that's the good side of videos, YouTube, and all of that. But you should do your own research. So from my own research, one thing that helped me, to be fair, which I would advise every international student, is to make sure that you have access to your university, even from the point of coming in. Sometimes when people ask me some questions, like when I check my DMs, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't answer this. I don't work in your uni. My uni is different. Even if you are coming to Chester University, when I came in, I applied 2019. Everything, things have changed, okay? But for instance, the good thing is that you can actually have approach. People should have that mindset that you can approach your uni. So that's one thing I would say. So for me, then I remember when I was now thinking of, okay, I need to start looking for a job. When is the best time? I wrote to my university now. Every university should have this, I believe. That's why allow university to pass through you. Don't just pass through the university. Have important links, have important email addresses, know some sectors. There's so many of them, people that will help you with your academics. They are everywhere and they are willing to help. But sometimes international students, especially people coming from Africa, they have this mentality from maybe coming from Africa, how lecturers there are, how the education system are. They tend to think it's the same, but it's obviously not the same. So one thing that helped me was the fact that I formed a good link. I have email addresses to anything I needed in my uni. I know who to email. So there's this people called a person. She's called the visa compliance officer. Okay, in my uni. When we first came in, she sent email telling us the rules of our tier 4. So that moment I already know, oh, this is this person's show. And because I didn't want to make mistake, I now sent her an email. I asked her, okay, look what I'm thinking. Because then I started looking for jobs. Definitely. She was the one that gave me the reassurance that, of course, if I get a job 3 months before the end of my visa, or if I've submitted my dissertation. I submitted my dissertation in October. That if I get a job by that October and I've submitted my dissertation, I've passed all my modules, that they can sponsor me immediately. I don't have to wait till the end of my program. So you can get a job 3 months before the end of your program. So I finished my program 6th of January this year. So from October, November, December, it's almost 2 months. Come on, if you get a job and they want to sponsor you, you are good to go. She sent me links to UK government website that back up everything because she's the visa compliant officer. She knows all of this. So she gave me that information. So that was another thing that really gave me the backup. Oh, wow, it's not too late to start looking for a job. And when I knew that ahead of time, when I told her I'll be submitting my dissertation by October, I've passed all my other modules. She now said, yes, once you get this 3 months before, you can apply and switch. So she was the first person that used this word for me. You can switch from your tier 4 to tier 2. I knew it's a possibility, but I needed that kind of professional advice to be sure that I'm doing the right thing. Okay. So when she told me that, then when I finished my placement around August, September, I started looking for jobs. I didn't wait. Mind you, my program officially ends January. My visa expires May. But as early as August, September, I have started applying for jobs. So if you have all this information, there are the things that will help you. Don't wait till the end of your program. Sometimes when you put up an application, it can take like 1 month, 2 months, depending on where, for them to get back to you. Sometimes the interview process, after the interview, some have different stage 1, stage 2, and all of that. You don't have to wait till your program officially ends before you start looking for job. And when you are just putting up, just put it clear that you are graduating at this time. This is expected time of graduation. Let them know. Here in this country, they are aware of people that are already graduating, that are in their final year. And many times, once is a vacancy open for newly qualified or people that, that is not like they need people with so many professional years of experience, they will take you on board. Once you tell them this is it, they can agree with you on a start date, except in cases where they need someone urgent to fill in that particular position. So just apply to as many places. So I started applying, okay. Then of course I got called for interviews. I was still writing my dissertation. I was having interviews left, right, and center. Okay. So when I did my application, one thing I would say is apply to as many places as possible. Luckily for me, everywhere I applied, they all called me, of course, because social work is in high demand. Okay, they need social workers. But there are people, I've spoken with people that are in other field, like medical lab scientists. They apply to so many different ones. Let's say they're out of 10, they got called for 3. You get that kind of thing. That's why you need to make sure that, make sure that you build your CV, make sure that it is tailored to the thing. Like let it be tailored to the position you are applying for. If you're not a professional, let me say you are not a nurse, you're not a social worker, and then you want to apply for different jobs that you think that you have the skills and everything it takes, good and fine. Just make sure that you build a specific CV for each of them. Okay. So if you have the CV, make it, tailor it down to the position. And one thing that will help you is to read the job description. When you read the job description, you will see what they want. There is always a job description. They will tell you what they want, what the job is all about, the skills they require. Make sure that you put all of that in your CV. That's your way of selling yourself out, because they can't call you to confirm some things. It's the application you put up. For social work, believe me, most social work application, they don't need your CV. You have to write cover letter, purpose, whatever. I can't remember what it is. So that's what you have to write. And sometimes it will be an application portal. Different questions, different local authorities, different employers ask different questions. By the end of the day, they have some things in common. So one thing that helped me is that if I answer A, okay, I will create a Word document. This is Chrome, where the application page is. I have a Word document. Every answer I give, before I submit, I will copy, I'll write the question down, then bolden it, then I'll paste it and write my answer. That's what I kept doing, all of them. At the end of the day, by the time I put out 3-4 applications, I already have more like answers to any question they ask, depending on what it is. All I'll need is to copy, go and paste it for them. At a point, I started enjoying making applications. It was fun because I don't have to put so much effort. I've had one like that their question was so much, and sometimes they require practical. One thing that will help you is to give them examples where you've done it. It's one thing to say, I have good communication skills, I'm good at this, I'm that. No, sometimes you can want to give them, depending on the job, give them examples. It helps to really boost your application. So that's one tip I'll give when it comes to application. Just make sure you tailor it down. Copy and paste, keep them, but make sure that you are careful enough to read through, proofread. Don't make a mistake, because the questions might be different, or you gave a specific answer and then you go and copy it. Obviously, it should be known that you copied and pasted. So just be careful with that. So from that August, I started getting called for interview. September, October, I submitted. By the time it was October, in short, by September, I already got called. I already got offers of employment from different local authorities that get. Literally, this is not like, I'm not exaggerating. Every local authority that I applied to called me for interview, and every one of them gave me a job. I got no rejection. Okay. So, of course, the interview process, I just made sure that I prepared myself very well for it. I know everything they will ask. I just had one experience. That one experience gave me idea of what they look out for. And of course, I did well in that first one. Then moving on, I knew, and I kept enhancing myself, And you can watch YouTube channels. You might see videos that will also help you, depending on whatever. You might see 1 or 2 videos in your field that will help you to know how to prepare for interview, depending on what you are applying for. So because of that, I just went on and kept applying. So maybe at this point, I should say one thing I did I regret doing, which caused some delay for me. Why at some point it felt like, oh my gosh, are you sure I won't end up going for the post-study visa? So because I had a specific place I wanted to stay, okay, I wanted to reside in Manchester. I have so many friends, not friends, I have so many families. My family is in Manchester. I know loads of people. I have a community of people, close family members, not just people from Nigeria or anything. Really close family that I know even before coming here. So all of them are in Nigeria, are in Manchester. It's more like a community. And they too were also encouraging me, don't go far. You are newly married. This, so don't go far. You need help. You know how lonely this country can be. Of course, I understand that. And of course, it's valid. So because of those advice, I tried to stay back in Manchester. So I said that all my applications, there is what is called Greater Manchester. So in Greater Manchester, there are so many local authorities, so many of them, about 10 or more of them. I applied to every one of them. And every one of them called me for interview and they all gave me jobs. Okay. Then, of course, at some point, I won't mention sponsorship because what I was doing then, I wanted to be sure of myself that I'm doing well in my interview. Because it's also if you mention it at the beginning, okay, they will even just close down your application. Because at that point, I needed to have that experience. I needed to have a feel of it. I didn't mention it. I was just going for interviews and they were giving me jobs. So that made me know that, wow, you are doing the right thing. This is good. And my confidence when it comes to interview increased. Okay. So that was one thing that helped me. Then at that phase, like I said, I wasn't mentioning it. And that's the advantage of not mentioning it because it helped me to know what I'm able to do well and know when I don't do well. And of course, I did well in all my interviews. So when they now call me for interviews, then the next thing is for you to submit your documents, your right to live and work in the UK, this, and that. That's the point I'll now say, okay, yeah, this is my right to live and work in the UK. I'm on tier 2 visa, this and that, but I need sponsorship. Now, that actually exposed me to know that so many HRs, some of them, they don't even know what is the sponsorship, they don't know the process. So many local authorities don't even know what is license, they don't know anything about it. And it gave me opportunity. I now started advocating, and I started advising, and I started creating awareness for so many people. Look what this is all about. I started telling them the advantage because sometimes they don't know the benefit they tend to get. So I told them these are the advantages you stand to gain. It's more like a contract for the next 5 years, for the next 3 years, depending on the number of years you give me. It helps to ensure employee security. I'm down with you for the next 5 years. For you don't need to be worried. Oh, this person will leave. This person will leave. This person will leave. So I'm down with you. It's more like a contract. So it's an advantage, employee security. So some of them unfortunately understood it. I mean, the managers that I'll be working on that because they'll be the one that will now be in touch with you to now work with you. But unfortunately, because of hierarchy, bureaucracy, all of these things, they'll say, we are sorry. I wish it's in my power to get this. I will get it because it's very good. I wonder why we don't even have it. But it's not a one-way thing. They have to go through so many stages, so many things before it will be approved. So they will just tell me, I'm sorry. One of them told me after telling them, they say, you know what, okay, let's sign a contract with you. Go for the 2 years post-study visa. Then before the end of the 2 years post-study visa, is a contract and we are telling you it's a deal. We will get the sponsorship and we will sponsor you. Are you kidding me? You see why that determination for me that I'm not going for this helped me. Like I said, no way, I'm not going for that. What do you mean? If you just get it already, why this? They said, oh, just do it for the before 2 years, you will get it. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going for that visa. Sorry. And that's how all of them, they kept disappointing me. They said, we don't have it, we don't. And even some that okay, after that phase, I now learned a lesson that maybe even before wasting my time. Remember, I already know that I'm good at interview. I already know what I'm doing well. I know that my applications are good. So I've gotten that reassurance. So for me not to stress myself, putting up application, attending interview, wasting my time, and at the end of the day, it should be rubbish. I now decided at this point, I'll be asking even before applying. So any job you see advertised, they will usually leave a number, an email, a link, someone to contact in case you have questions. So what I was doing, if I see any job advert, I'll now ring or email the person, introduce myself, tell them everything. This is me. I'm currently on tier 4 visa, but for me to guarantee my continuous stay in the UK, I need tier 2 visa, and I need the employer that is, are you eligible? Are you this? Mind you, before then, I already downloaded the register of licensed sponsors. I downloaded it. Okay. So what made me to call before applying is that when I now saw the list, I will now see, oh, this local authority, they are there. I'll go and look for, I will apply. Now, 3 local authorities I saw on that register, I applied, they gave me job, but at the end of the day, they told me, one told me, oh, we are sorry, we are reviewing our license, and while we are doing that, we are providing no sponsorship. The other one said, yeah, we have the license, quite all right, but you applied for newly qualified. It's for the ASYE program. We can't sponsor you for this one. I'm like, are you kidding me? You have the license. If I pass my 1 year training, definitely what you will do, you even be happy that I will continue working with you. You don't, because sometimes local authorities, they don't like it when they train you for that 1 year, then you leave them. So this guarantees security. It doesn't make sense. I tried arguing it. Believe me, I argued it with that particular manager. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. You offer the sponsorship, and after my 1 year training, you are happy for me to continue to become a permanent employee. So why can't you sponsor me? Or, but then it went nowhere. They were so adamant. They said, we are sorry, we can't sponsor you for this role. So that taught me that lesson. There was another one I saw. Then, so many things. So I now decided, you know what, it's no longer about seeing their names on the register. They might be there and they might not actively be sponsoring, or they will tell you this role you applied for, sorry, we are not. So when I learned that lesson, I now started calling before applying. So I called a few of them. Of course, I'll introduce myself. I'll tell them. Some will say, oh yeah, we sponsor, but it is for this particular one. Apply to this team. This is the team that I know that over the years we've provided sponsorship, and yes, there is vacancy for you to apply for that one. Some will say, oh yes, we sponsor, we have the license, go ahead and apply. Once you pass and you do well in the interview, we will gladly sponsor you. So I did all of this. So when I gathered the names of those, and mind you, by this time I now realized that limiting myself to Manchester was not helping. Okay, so I now spread my tentacles and I decided to look far away. Okay, though looking far away, I still had places I said, no, this place is not for me. I'm not going to live here. Okay, so that made me, of course, to be open-minded. So that's one advice I'll give: be open-minded. Don't limit yourself, especially when you don't have time. Okay, don't make this mistake. I made that mistake. That's why you can learn from it. Don't limit yourself. Just apply to as many places everywhere, whichever one that works. The good thing is that you can go and work there. Now I have my tier 2 visa. It's for 3 years. Anyways, I hope to continue working there for 5 years. Except I don't like the work, like I'm no longer happy the place. Okay, I can always apply to another place, get a sponsorship and move. But the thing is, get it already. And then after 5 years, when you get your indefinite leave, go back to wherever you want to live, move back, enjoy life. So just see it as years of sacrifice, little beginning. Okay, so that 5 years won't be a waste. I know what I want to achieve. It's a long-term plan. Okay, it's not short-term. So during this time, I'll be happy. Let me just stay here. It wasn't easy. I bet you it won't be easy. It wasn't easy for me moving away, going to a different place where I hardly know anybody and all of that. But at the end of the day, you know what you have at the back of your mind. So that's what I did, and then I started applying to these ones that said they will offer me sponsorship. And of course, like I said, they all gave me jobs. I was now deciding, and they were all willing to sponsor me. It was now my decision. Which one will I take? I remember I made a video then saying that they rush me now. They are the ones after me now, you see. So after all those disappointments, there are so many opportunities everywhere in England, in Scotland, in Wales, in wherever you are in the UK, there are opportunities. There might be some local areas. At the end of the day, you know what you want. And I usually say, no matter how local that place is, okay, it might be better than where you are coming from. So there's nothing to regret about it. So just go for it. See it as a temporal stuff. maximum 5 years, you are out of there. You can live wherever you want. Once you have your indefinite leave to remain, you can live wherever you want to live in the UK. Do whatever you want to do. Even if you, some point I was telling my husband recently that I wish I could quit work. Like, I don't want to work again. But if I don't work now, we'll be deported. If I don't
Honestly.
work, if I don't work now, we'll be deported. So I have
Mhm.
no choice. So well, if I got my ILR, I can decide, for the next 4 months, I'm out of work, So yeah, we'll all get there. So these are the things I would say that really helped me that I did. And of course, where I am. Finally, I got my tier 2 visa sponsorship and I'm here in the UK. Yes.
Thank you so much for that elaborate explanation. I just want to quickly do a recap because I personally, I love to, I've learned a lot. I'm sure you must have seen the way I was shaking my head because they're like, and this was what I was saying about the fact that it doesn't necessarily have to be even the health and care sector. Anywhere you are looking for a job in the UK, as long
Yeah.
as it is a job under the shortage occupation list,
Yeah.
there are positions out there. In fact, that's the reason why they're on the shortage list in the first place. It's because they can't
Yeah.
fill it up and they need people who can come on and work. But
Yeah.
one essential, very, very essential thing I say every time is as long as you're applying to employers in the UK, you have to be prepared for the unfortunately emails. It will come. They
Exactly.
will come. It's like I don't even know if I say it every time. I've never had unfortunate emails as much as I have in the UK. You will get them, but
Yeah.
it just takes only one. Oh, we are happy to take you on board to
Yeah.
erase off all those unfortunately. So don't
Exactly.
say like, oh, I've applied to 2 places. Especially people who are even out of the country. I hear them say, oh, I applied to like 20 places. Nobody. No, you've not started. You have to
No.
keep applying and applying and applying. And I
Yeah.
like the tricks that she used. First of all, she was first applying just generally to test your strength. How
Yeah.
good. And sometimes I do that. Even back in Nigeria, I sometimes apply to places just to know what my capacity. Do these people even rate me? Do they think I'm
Yeah.
worthy to be, employed? Sometimes
Exactly.
it's not about you even getting that job from that employer. It's about knowing what get a feedback from the HR. What do they think about your CV? What do they think about what you've packaged before them? That way you can improve yourself. So sometimes it might not even necessarily be because you want to get the job. It might just be to put yourself out there, get
Yeah.
interviewed, see what they're even asking. Note all those things they've asked you. When my husband goes for interviews sometimes, especially in this health and care sector, he works in the care sector, by the way. I ask him, what were you asked? Write it down after the interview. Because
Yeah.
somebody else might want to come later and you want to tell them, oh, when I went on this interview, this was what I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
It just helps you so that the next one you're going for is better. So one thing I took from her, explanation, her process is that you might get a lot of rejection and you might not. At the end of the day, she even got a lot of yeses that turned out not to, pan out the way she wanted because
Yeah.
it's the UK for you. Sometimes what they want is not what you want. What you want is not what they want, even though you
Yeah.
both need each other. So it's not for you to
Exactly.
decide whether this thing makes sense for me or not. Imagine if she had not made up her mind that, I'm not doing postgraduate, visa. Somebody came, an organization came with that ambition. You'd be wondering, why can't you just sponsor me already? And then it
Yeah.
brings me to my next point. Even the tier 2 sponsorship list that is on the Home Office website is not to be followed. I mean, you can check it once in a while just to see what's happening here. Some of them are licensed and are not recruiting. Some of
Yeah.
them that are even licensed and recruiting are not on the list yet. I bet you it's
Yeah.
not because where my husband currently works is not on that list and they're sponsoring. So like you can't rely on that list. Let it
Yeah.
be your guide, but then you can't 100% rely on it. Some of them will just
Yeah.
have the license and they don't even know what it's for. Some of them don't
Exactly.
even care. Some of them think it's a lot of, job, a lot of work they need to put into sponsoring you. They don't want to
Yeah.
go through that stress. So like she did, she was asking the right questions. Ask the right questions. You necessarily don't need to, start off your interview with that kind of question. It could be towards
Yeah.
the end you've gotten the job. Just let them know. This is what
Yeah.
I'm looking out for. At the end of the
It
day, it's a
won't change
decision.
the decision.
Yeah, it won't change the decision. So if they now think that, oh, you're a good asset to them, they don't want to lose you, they might now bend their rules for you.
Yeah.
Ask questions. Don't just assume. The interview should be a two-way, route. They do their own interview, their own grilling. You do your own
Yeah.
interview, your own grilling. Is this a good place for me? And then let's not forget the fact that your CV, like she was saying, you fill a lot of applications trying to get a job. you need to be, it's not just about answering questions, about, again, like she was saying, putting practical examples. The UK is so big on experience.
Yeah.
Like, how can you have application? That's why I call it. How can you apply this to this? Not just A to is equals to B or Z is equals to no. They want
Yeah.
practical application. What have you done? What is it that you've done in this kind of situation? You see them create so many scenarios and just asking you, how did you get out of this? So yeah, CV is very key. How you answer your questions in the application, whether it's a portal or it's a form or whatnot, is very key. And then you need to apply to a lot of these jobs. Streamline it with whatever filters you want to use, whether you want to use city, you want to use um, um, a country, whether England, Scotland, Wales, whatever. Just know that you have to apply to a lot of places. And let the end goal be that you want to start early. Like she said, she started early. And just imagine all the struggles she still had to go through towards the tail end because a lot of things were not hard enough. This is someone who got a lot of yeses, but still had, the sponsorship issue here and there. So starting early is key. If you know
Yeah.
that you don't want to even deal with post-study, the postgraduate study visa, then start early. Don't use this dissertation. There's something else she said about doing as dissertation. She was still applying. Some people have spoken to some people and they're like, oh, I'm waiting till after my dissertation. So where's the time? After your dissertation, it's just few months until your visa is expired. Why
Yeah.
can't you start early enough? Everything can work hand in hand. I know that
Correct.
people are working, people are trying to get a lot of things done at the same time, but prioritizing, the end goal is I need to get a visa out of here. And you need to start early. Then another thing that I took from our conversation is that you have to liaise with your school. See, the International Center of any school is there to answer all
Yeah.
these questions. They are employed for that reason. No matter how big, small, large, complicated your questions are, send them emails, call them
Yeah.
if there's a call. Ask questions they are not sure about. It was um was it last month I was telling my husband that every week I go on my portal, I look for the new updates, what's the bulletin saying. I just want to read up what's the new thing happening in school. The fact that she studies social work in Chester, a course that started in 2020, and you're asking her about the same course in 2022 doesn't mean that
Yeah.
dynamics might have changed, policies might have
Exactly.
changed, things might have changed. So it is only if you talk with the right. In fact, sometimes you even call international center and they don't even have the right information, but they will
Yeah.
lead you to the right place.
Yeah.
Information can be stale. You could literally think that something was happening last month and this month something else has happened to it and it has changed altogether.
Sure.
So ask questions. Your international center is there. You've paid for this service. Get the service. Get the value for the money you pay. Ask them questions if you are not sure. See all of the questions she asked that helped her, up until this point. And I'm very glad that I've brought her today because all of these details, even if you watch all her video, you may not get this all-round video once. But it's just
Correct.
knowing that people, um, is a part that a lot of people have gone ahead of us and have been able to achieve. They've made
Yeah.
mistakes along the way. They know the things they should have done better, and that's why I brought her so that we can learn. I am learning because I'm also trying to cross to tier two. So don't think that you are just there. I'm on a PhD, but at the end of the day, my PhD guarantees nothing towards indefinitely because how do I begin
Yeah.
to count 10 years? But and I say it every time that when I came for my master's in 2016, I came to university for my master's in 2016. The information that I have now, if I had it back in 2015 when
Yeah.
I came, I would do a lot of things differently. Even some information that I have now, if I had it back 1.5 years ago, I probably wouldn't have come for my PhD. Like, that's why information just, evolves, makes you make more informed decisions. I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm here myself to listen to all of these things because indefinitely to remain is the goal. That's the goal. And then there's something else she mentioned about it doesn't really matter where you are now. See it as humble beginnings. See it as just starting. The end game is to be able to, stay back. You know that this is what can lead you there. And when you get there, you can decide to just say, you know what, UK, I'm not working no more. I'm just going to be self-employed. Declare yourself self-employed and just keep
Exactly.
enjoying yourself if you have the money to pay the bills that needs to be paid. So it's just
Exactly.
sacrificing all of these days, years, months to be able to get to that point. Our time is running out. I just wanted to say, okay, we've identified how you can get tier 2 sponsors. There's a list, but even apart from that, like she has said, when you see job openings, positions, and all of that, there's always a number or email to check. You can call, confirm from them, can you sponsor? I'm this, I'm on tier 4, I'm trying to see if I can cross to tier 2. Can you sponsor me? Ask questions. The person when they ask questions, they lost. Ask questions. It doesn't, and it is this country I learned that no question is too ridiculous. Just ask
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Somebody will have solution or answer to your problem. Ask the
Exactly.
question. So she said a lot about requirement, how to tailor your CV and all of that. If you are in social care, if you are trying to get a social care job, you already know that you need to go online and find, okay, what are the job descriptions? What are the duties expected of me? Those are the things you tailor into your CV. Don't just carry the way we do CV in Nigeria, that one CV can go for 10 different roles. Let CVs be specific to the job you are
Yeah.
trying to get. Um, Before I come to requirements for visa and all of those tips about getting a successful visa, how long it took you to get a visa and all, I just wanted to quickly ask this last question about Jet2 generally. So, um, I'm not a social worker, but I've worked under social care. So I've been a support worker, or I've been a carer or something. Do you think that it is also easy to get a two sponsored job in the UK at this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Actually, UK, I think UK is one of the developed countries of the world that have opened their borders with so many opportunities for people to enter. Many times I tell people this, the best time for you to come to UK is now, because it can close at any time. I mean, this year alone, UK has introduced how many visa routes for people to just come. That's just how it is. And believe me, you don't know, election is coming up soon. You don't know what will happen. You don't know how they will just change everything, because this post study didn't start now. It used to be a government came and stopped it. Now it's open. So these are actually opportunity for people to use this opportunity. UK study visa is one of the easiest to get among all the high ranked countries that people go to study. UK certificate will do you a lot of good, okay? So when you come here with all these opportunities, I believe it's very, very easy. And the popular one is the health and care visa. See, people are getting jobs from outside the UK under this visa. How much more somebody that is here already? I mean, you are robbing yourself. If
That's
people are
what I
getting
wanted to hear. The fact that people outside are getting, so you that are already in the country, why will you tell me, wow,
exactly,
why? What are you doing? What are you not doing? People outside are getting every day. You hear, oh, I got my COS, I got my COS. And you're in the
yeah,
country. All these employers are there looking for. In fact, many of these employers would prefer to employ people that are already in the country. It's a
exactly,
lot
because
of work for them waiting for somebody coming from outside. So
coming from
if you don't
outside,
realize
true,
that, then you won't know how much sitting
exactly,
on the gold mile in the country.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, go on.
yeah, that's an opportunity because, like, if you are here already, like she said, is an added advantage. Employers would rather employ somebody here already than someone outside, whether they will pay for their flight, whether they will give them temporary accommodation. They're not even sure of the how good the person is, whether the person is reliable, whether the person will, but you are here already. At least they know that you've crossed the UK border. You have a visa already. You have some UK experience. Okay. So what I would say is this now. If maybe the course you are studying, there are so many jobs. See, I tell people that it's not only in Nigeria that you study a particular course. Before now, I used to think that people that study zoology, botany, that if you study it abroad, there's a job waiting for you immediately, kind of. All these jobs, they may, but they are not straightforward like that, the way that a doctor will come out and get a job easily, okay? So let's assume that you are not studying a job that is on the shortage of occupation list, like course-wise, like you're not studying nursing, social work, and all of this. The best thing for you to do is, these are days of little beginning. This is my advice to you, okay? All you have to do is to just make up your mind. You know what? Okay, I'm going to start little. This is not the last job I will do. I will definitely, it's a building process. I'm doing this. I know why I'm doing this. Maximum 5 years, I'll be out. Then what you should do once you come, and talking about jobs, sometimes people come with so high expectations about the jobs they want to do as students. See, take it from me. Once you come here, open your mind. Yeah, we are going to do care job or factory job or working in a shop. Just tailor your mind. Within weeks of coming to the UK, my husband just came to the UK. Oh gosh, you doesn't just open your mind and say these are the jobs I know I can get. In less than 1 month, you will land a job immediately and start working. Okay, don't put those high expectations. When you get this one now, you can now start looking for those ones. When they come, in this country, nobody sends you, okay? everybody is caring after themselves. As far as it's not a contract, you can always use the exit door. Okay, just make sure that when you are signing a contract, know what it is all about. So with that mindset now, knowing that health and care visas, there are so many care homes and agencies that are giving sponsorship. When you come, just make up your mind to start doing care or support work. Start it, build that experience, and if possible, get a job with a care home, not an agency, because some agencies they pay more, but sometimes they don't have the sponsorship. So if you can get a job with a care home, okay, you can work with them. I've got someone on my channel who she used to be my my mentee. My university has this mentoring program, and of course, I was one of the mentors. So as an international student, and she's a Nigerian, she was my mentee. I was her mentor. So I started telling her then, why not speak to your workplace? You've been working as a support worker in this place for some time. Tell them about the sponsorship. It was a simple advice. She heeded to it. She went and told them. They were like, really, we will consider it. Sometimes these care homes are not like big local authorities that have so many hierarchies. Really, they considered it. And because of her, they got the license to sponsor the visa. And they sponsored her. You
Sorry
know,
to
they gave her.
sorry to cut you short. When my husband also started to work in a care home, we just drafted a random email to his line manager and told her we're on tier 4 at the moment, but we're looking to cross to tier 2, because at the end of the day, this tier 4 is not counting to nothing for us. I
Yeah.
need my husband to be on tier 2 as soon as possible. And the woman was like, oh, they don't sponsor. Immediately she responded, oh, we don't sponsor here. We are sorry. It's an organization. And in my mind, I'm like, I know that they love you so much in this organization, because the service unit where he works is always like, he's always getting their team leader of the week. I'll be one
Yeah.
time, month, every time. So I know they like him in the place. I'm like, okay, no problem. And I drafted another response that's fine. We are looking to get a tier 2, so we might not be staying for too long here then. That was just the response I sent to her. Less than 3 days after, she sent a message that they've sat on the matter. The management have decided that they will do licensing, blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to buttress her point that if you don't ask sometimes, you will just be there sitting on gold mine
Yeah.
and you don't even know that you have that. There's a power with where you work, and if you are being diligent, and that's why I say diligence
Yeah.
is key. If they think that, oh, you know what, this person is
We
valuable,
don't want to
you
lose
lose
you.
them, and they know that it won't cost them much to do this. In fact, they offered him that, okay, we're able to sponsor you, pay up all the things that needs to be paid, or you could take this other offer, you pay yourself, blah, blah. They gave us so much options. So,
Options.
guys, I like the fact that she said, ask, and then just be open-minded. When I came to the country, I'm a lawyer. I've practiced law for more than 8 years before I came for my PhD. I did my master's in the UK. When I came back, some of my friends say, oh, but you have your master's in law in the UK. Why can't you go and get a legal job? I knew when I came to the country that I had a lot of debt to pay from paying some of these bills that brought us into the country. So I didn't even have the time to sit down and be looking for a legal job that won't come instantly. And I
Yeah.
knew I needed pounds to start coming into my account as soon as possible. I got on a support job. I said I couldn't do care because I know I'm a very irritable person.
Yeah.
But support won't, make me
You
do all
won't
the
do.
clothes.
Yeah.
I got on a support job and I worked for more than 8 months or so before I now started thinking, okay, let's go back to the research assistant, so that as a page, it won't be like I just a PhD student
Yeah.
with no research experience and all that. So, like she said, be open-minded. At the end of the day, the bills need to be paid. You need to even get that UK work experience, because my friend, if you don't get experience, how do people even say, oh yes, you worked in the UK, you know what the
Yeah.
work culture is like in the UK? You need to get it. So don't sit down and be on the high horse and be like, oh, yes, this. If the country where you were coming from and the job where you were doing back in Nigeria was making sense so much for you, you could have just stayed. Once you cross that border and you come here, begin to work wherever and wherever, as long as it's legal. And then you can now map out your timeline. Okay, this is how long I want to stay in this place. After here, I'm moving to this place. After here, I'm moving to this place. One other thing I don't like is people being, too settled in a job that is not what they really want to do, just
Yeah.
because money is coming. That's why mapping out your progress is very important. But
Yeah.
then don't downplay any job. Don't In fact, this place, you can't even downplay anybody.
Nobody
Everybody
looks
is
down on you. No.
respected. Everybody is Some cleaners in some organizations even ride the best cars than the CEOs or
Of
whatever.
course.
CEOs of companies on the train with you, jumping the
Ah,
train. So everybody's just living their life. Nobody knows you, don't know nobody. It's our
yeah.
Nigerian culture where, yeah, the one job is something. No, just do what you have to do to pay the bills, map out your career path, make some money to, if it's certification you need to do, whatever you need to do to get back on your, career, you can get it done.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And there's something, she mentioned while we were talking now that has skipped me. I hope I remember so that I can talk about it again, because those are like vital information. You don't want to um to to yeah, I can't remember what it was she said, but it was so vital in my hand, and I was like, we need to talk about this, but I'm going to come back to it if I remember. So
Yeah.
after you got your job and all of that, what was visa application like? Was it straightforward? Did you have to use your school or agent, or did you? I can't even be asking whether you used an agent. You're already a guru in this thing. But how was it like?
See, I always tell people, when people always say agent, 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 people will believe, oh, that's what people do. But sometimes I just want to believe like you can do things on your own, okay? There are some complicated issues. I tell people something like applying to invest in the UK. You can sit down at home, even with your phone. Most of my applications I did them with my phone, not even with a laptop. But I know there's some cases when you have serious issues, maybe this, you've done this, you had this history, this. When you have those doubts, then you need a professional to guide you. So all my application, I did them by myself. My husband's dependent visa, I did them by myself. I consulted nobody. I did nothing. At a point, because I was thinking, can I apply for myself and my husband immediately? Like as I'm doing my own app, but he is not here. That was when I needed some kind of legal advice. And of course, you can call solicitors on the phone for a few minutes free. If you have that information, I just called one and I said this, and I said, okay, yeah, I can come for an appointment, but this is just a quick question because I need to make that decision now. He said, no, since he's not in the country with you, you can't put up application. Your visa has to be granted. Since he's over there, then you now apply for him under your own. That was all I needed, to be fair. He gave me an appointment, but when I sat down, I'm like, is it really worth it? What other information do I need? I did my application myself. It was straightforward. I just typed UK skilled worker visa. Clicked on the one under Google that has UK government website. Click on it. Start now. I started. It's a simple question. As far as you understand English, okay, you know how to do this, you are good to go. I did my application by myself. It was seamless. And at the end of the day, like I said, as opposed to the post-study visa, I can't remember now how much the application was, but I think my application was 300 and approximately £400. Believe me, that was all I paid for. Because of my profession, being eligible for the, what is it called, health and care, whatever, because
You
it's
wouldn't
under
have had to
social.
pay
I
IHS.
didn't, of course, I did pay. If anyone has seen my video, I've said it one of the time that to be safe, because I'm in children's social care, they were talking of adult social care, this and that. I wasn't sure. So I just said I'm not eligible. Social work is, but I wanted to play safe. I don't want my visa to be denied because I'm not eligible. And I said I was. So I just plainly said I'm not eligible. Okay. And when I said I'm not eligible, that was when they charged me for health surcharge. But believe me, immediately they granted my visa today. The following day, I received an alert. They sent back my immigration health surcharge. So at the end of the day, for my visa, I didn't pay up to £400 for 3 years visa. Less than £400 for 3 years, and it's counting towards my stay in the UK, just 5 years round. Okay, my husband's own too, because they refunded my own. They asked the same question during his own application. I was like, if I didn't pay, then he didn't need to pay. I boldly said, yes, I'm eligible for this, and we didn't pay for his own, and his visa was granted too. Okay, so I didn't use any agent, I didn't do anything. They are just straightforward. I just did them, and it cost less than £500 for you to do your application, depending on how much. I know some companies now for this health and care visa, people should just be careful, and we advise. There are so many people that are making a living out of people. They are extorting money from people, collecting £6,500, collecting £4,000 just for them to give you a job, to give you COS. Mind you, that is illegal. If you check people doing that, they are not, I doubt if they are British. It's either they are Africans or they are Asians. Okay.
Zimbabwe's.
Go online. I met a subscriber 2 weeks ago who was just telling me she's a Ghanaian. I was just curious, and I said, really, you came on health and care visa, support work for that matter. How did you do it? She said she just applied online. She just saw it online and she applied by herself. She didn't use any agency, and she came from Ghana to the UK. So sometimes people are so lazy to sit down and do research. They just want all these quick ways of doing things. And sometimes at the end of the day, people, their money have gone. They have, entered into some problem. They say the COS did this. COS doesn't take anything. The company can get your COS. If they want you to pay for it, how much do they pay to get COS? It doesn't cost a lot, okay? So just try as much as possible. There are job opportunities, and like we said earlier, start on time. So that was how I did my application. I just did it. My employer, of course, applied for my COS. It's the employers that we apply for it. Then they give me my COS. It's just a number that they will give you. With that number, that's all you need to go and do your application. Of course, if it's NHS will pay for your application fee. NHS will pay for everything for your spouse. My local authority, they said no, they are not. I'll be the one to pay for my this thing, which is not a problem because it cost me less than £500 and I did it by myself. So it's pretty straightforward, I must say.
Mm. So yeah, what I was going to say that I forgot the other time, now I've remembered, is research. You have to do a lot of research. I mean, you can learn a thing or two from people who are sharing valuable experiences on YouTube, IG, wherever you are, finding yourself these days. But nothing can take away that space of your own personal research, something you've read on the UK Home Office. The information there is authentic and to time. Don't begin to trade your own research time for what someone is sharing. So I mean, people come and share all of these experiences to reduce the time you have to go research, but it doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
still won't have to research. And I also don't know, I find it very funny when people come and they're asking, oh, can you refer, some people will come to my page and be asking, can you refer me to an agent, a reliable agent? And I'm like, what's reliable agent? What? And then when if I have time, I ask them, what do you need help with? What do you want? If it's something I can ask, I'm like, it's not everything that you need to look for agents. When you're relying on agents, that they begin to
Yeah.
do research, do your work. If you are a very lazy person, especially this health and care route, you might not get a sponsored job because it takes a lot of applying to a lot of places
Yeah.
and knowing what you are doing. Because at the end of the day, I don't even think an agent would do this job for you. And that's why you see people come charge 8,000, 10,000. I know people that have approached me and said, you know what, if you have people in your community that want to buy, there's 10,000, there's 8,000. Because people can't research, people don't want to do things themselves.
Yeah.
But if you can do the work, just put in the work. Tell yourself the next 4 weeks I want to focus on just applying to places to get a job. And it is not necessarily just health and care, right? Because I know that people have asked me this, is it just health and care jobs you get in the UK? No. I have somebody who I applied for his visa, blah, 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 everything he did that made him come to the UK on his LLM journey. And when he came, the guy literally just broke off and started applying for legal jobs. He told me that, see, I'm not going to do any job, petty job, although all of that is still took it back because he has worked in Asda, Tesco, he's worked in McDonald's even. But he eventually landed a legal job, and that's the point I'm making. He works in a law firm, an energy law firm in London, that has now even sponsored this visa. Yes, that's what I was going to say. You can switch your visa, like International Favor has said, you can switch your visa before your course has even ended. He even switched around February and it started in September. He just sent a message to his school and told them that, oh, he just
Exactly.
got a job and they're happy to sponsor him. And the school sent a message to Home Office on his behalf that, oh, we have this student who wants to switch to another employer, to another sponsor who's
Yeah.
employing him part-time, blah, blah, blah. He will still be studying. He's still studying. He's going to be graduating in October. And he's currently working for a law firm that is sponsoring his visa. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's really no job you cannot get. What is more important is that they are happy to sponsor. They have license to sponsor, and they are happy to sponsor you
Yeah.
for your tier 2. So it's very important that and we've said it. The list might not necessarily be the true nature of things. There are a lot of companies out there that are on the list and are not recruiting currently. There are a lot of them that are not on the list and are recruiting. It's just to do your homework. You already know that there's a guide, and if you are not sure, there's a way you can call any company that is licensed to sponsor, have a license number. So they themselves will know whether they can sponsor or not. And they will tell you if they are recruiting or they are not recruiting. So guys, I don't want us to take any more time. We've spent 1 hour. I'm just going to do ask that Intentional Favor just tell us if there are any other tips she wants to give, especially as with interviews. When you start to get interview, it is general. I know that interview tips generally in the UK is the same. Apart from the fact that your duties have to align with your CV, there might just be other general tips you want to share as regards interviewing and just on application, jobs interview and job applications. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. For interview, I'll just say, of course, generally you'll be told to get prepared. It's not just a cliche. You really need to be prepared. But that preparation is more like mental and knowing what to expect. Believe me, I've had interviews that I forgot I had interview until my calendar reminded me, is it 1 hour or 30 minutes before the time? And I was still in bed. I was not dressed. I was so tired. I would just jump up and put things together. But at the end of the day, it's more like having expectation. Now, before you go for any interview, okay, make sure. That's why I advise that copy and paste your application, the question, copy and paste. Note the name of the company. All those things you wrote there that you said, please revise it in case you are like, for instance, those going into social work that they'll be asking you some practical questions. Make sure that you know the answers you gave so that you don't go there and shoot yourself on the leg, because sometimes they have your CV, they have your answers, they have all these things on board right there. And there are some points you are expected to share those or give those examples. So that's one way you can actually prepare for your interview. Don't be nervous. I usually tell people, especially if you're watching me and you're an African, an Asian, or someone that you're not originally from the UK, interviews are not, before now I used to have some ideas about interviews, like like people are just standing there, they are sadists, they really want you to fail, or they are just there to interrogate you, they want you to fail and they're asking you questions. I used to be really afraid of interview. But yeah, I found out that interviews are not like that. It's usually friendly. It's more like a chat. In the mindset I go with for an interview is that it's a chat. I'm just there to have a chat with you, a formal chat. It's no longer informal that I'll just cross my leg and be laughing and all of that. No, it's a formal chat. So I just come prepared because I know that everything I'll be saying, depending on your occupation, some might ask you some questions that maybe you really need to read. Okay, for me, I don't necessarily need to read. All I know for social work, I need to know my laws, my Children and Family Act, Section 17, Section 47. I need to know these. Those are the only thing I need to read. Other things are practical because most times, believe me, what I do in my interviews is to share, tell them what I have done. If they ask me any question, hey, what are the skills? Oh, I'm good at time management. I will give immediately. I'm backing it up with an example. Tell you what I have done. So these are the things that have actually helped me. So just see it as, don't have that. Once you have this mindset, you won't be anxious, because what makes people to actually do not do well in interviews is because of anxiety. They just go there, they are stammering, or they are no. Just see it as a child. Just go there. Most times they are friendly. I don't know, but most every interview I've attended usually come with smiling faces. Sometimes if you go for physical interview, they will even give you water or drink. They'll ask you, do you want it? Do you want this? And feel free to ask them to repeat questions. Come again. Sorry, I didn't quite get that. They will repeat it for you. When I was doing Zoom interviews, sometimes I'll tell them, okay, is it okay for me to write? Some of my interviews, I wrote them down. I'll go with this thing. I'll write this so that when I'm answering, I'll be looking at the question to make sure that I'm not answering off point. Okay. And of course, feel free to ask them to repeat themselves. They will gladly do so. And don't think then now they ask you something, you're answering something else. And you can also say that, I'm not sure if I'm actually getting that. Was that what you wanted? Feel free. It's a chat. Ask them if you think that you are saying rubbish. Just in a polite way, ask them, I hope that answers the question. I'm not sure if I get the question. Sorry. They will repeat it or tell you, yeah, you are doing well. They will. Okay. You hardly meet a sadist during your interview. So it's nothing to worry about. Come prepared and don't see it as a hard nut to crack. It's just a formal chat with your potential employer.
Just as a recap, like you said, it's a formal chat. I can't even count the number of interviews I've done in this UK since I came, whether for a job or for a remote job, whatever. It is always a formal chat. They are not out there to win chance or to see you fail. They just want to be sure that you know what you're up to and what you
Yeah.
want to do. So it's a formal chat. If you don't understand what they're saying, ask them. You could even paraphrase the question and ask, is this what you're asking me? Do you want to know this? So that if that's not what they want, they can paraphrase the whole question.
Yeah.
Just know, like she said, that an interview, even if you do so badly in your first interview, the next one will be better, and the next one will be, so it just keeps getting better. I
Yeah.
do interviews sometimes just for the fun of it. Sometimes I'm doing an interview and I already know that I'm not going to pass that interview, but I'm still doing it anyway. I'm happy that at least I have this opportunity to go before this person, see the
Yeah.
questions they're asking, and then I can know how to prepare for next time. So yeah, I remember that when I wanted to start searching for legal jobs, I actually started going for job interviews just to even have an idea of the things they will be asking me. I knew the first, second, or third interviews I went for that they were never going to give me that job because I didn't even know I was just saying rubbish. But I was noting, in fact, I recorded the interview because I was noting the questions down so that I could prepare myself for the very next one that I need to attend. So yeah, you could start off that one as a test run for yourself. Nobody needs to know that that's what you're trying to use it to do.
Yeah.
The more you attend, the more you get better, and then you can be fine. Just know that at the end of the day, this tier two route, if you can cross onto that, makes your indefinite leave to remain come quicker. The study route is just what it is. You're just studying, and when you're done, the UK government, as far as they're concerned, wants you to carry your bag and go, or unless you want to apply for post study, which in
Yeah.
itself is still not counting towards indefinite leave. So it's just all a matter of figure out how to get on tier two so that
Yeah.
you start to build your pathway to settling down. Of course, when we become permanent residents, what's left to become citizens? So yes, guys, that's the reason why I've got intentional favor today. I'm so happy. I can't even count the number of times we tried to fix this meeting that didn't work out until today. I'm very happy that you had the time today, and I'm at work. I have
Finally.
to take all of this 1 hour as my time, my break time, so that I can do this. Thank you so much for coming on here today. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you have not subscribed to International Favors YouTube, me, I don't even know what you are doing because these things that we are talking about are things that she went through live and direct, and she has shared every of her process up until now. So if there's anything you are still not sure about, go on the channel. Me, I just take 1 or 2 hours when I feel like there's somebody I need to learn what they are doing. Go on their channel, watch a lot of their videos. It might not be everything, but at least sample. The titles are there. You know the one that really answer the question you're trying to, and you get it done. Subscribe to the channel when you're there. Thank you. It is free, so you don't have to pay or anything like that. Please subscribe to the channel. You can also subscribe to this channel. I know I don't create a lot of content, but yeah, I'll change. I promise. Please
Change.
subscribe to this channel also. Thank you so much, intentional people. And hello to
You're
your husband for
welcome.
giving this time for you to come and share the experience. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
You're
Guys, go to
welcome.
intentional people's YouTube channel. I can't say much of our IG, but you see that YouTube channel, God, there's a lot to learn. Is it from application, from all that she did. And like I said, she juggled a lot of things and she still finished with a distinction. To me, I like to roll with people that are not just smart, book smart, but also street smart. You know, and yes, she's an alumni of UI. So in case you don't know, we're from the same uni. So yeah, guys, I hope to see you again. So I don't want this to drag longer than it has already done. Thank you so much, Favor. I hope that we'll see you again soon. And
Yeah.
everyone that's joined, thank you for joining. And everyone who will be watching this after, I hope you learn 1 or 2 things. If you still have doubts in your heart, you're not sure what it is, I promise you, if you go on any of Intentional Favors videos, drop a comment. Just drop the question there. She will see it at some point and she will answer you. Or you can send a DM to her on Intentional Favor. Just look for her anywhere you can find her. Harass her with your questions. She will reply you when she's able to reply you. But don't forget, if you want to cross from tier 4 to tier 2, the start point is to start early. And know
Yeah.
that there may be a lot of refusals along the line. A lot of employers might say no, unfortunately, whatever the phrases they use. But just so it takes only 1 year for all of those no to be over. Keep at
Yeah.
it. Consistency is key. And just knowing that this is what you need to be able to stay put or continually in the UK. Put all that effort into it. Put all the effort you can put into it, and you will achieve your goals by the grace of God. See you again soon, guys, and thank you, intentional people. See you
Thank
later.
you for having me. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like
Please
this video.
subscribe. Please subscribe.
Yeah.
Please go to Intentional People's YouTube channel. That's our channel. Thank you so much, and God
You're
bless you.
welcome.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, favor. Bye.
Bye.